All right, we'll call this meeting to order. This is a special called meeting. I would note that all members are currently present, along with County Administrator Mr. Barton, County Attorney Mr. Sturgill, Madam Clerk Teresa Lyle, as well as our Economic Development Coordinator Ms. Cronkite. If everyone will, let's go together in a word of prayer here this morning, or this afternoon, I'm sorry. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day here in Dickinson County. I ask you to be with each member as we consider the county's business here this evening. I ask a special blessing on Ms. Kaiser as she continues healing process with her knee replacement. I ask a blessing on Ms. Sluss's family as they continue to deal with medical issues. I ask you to be over our county, each child, each home, each family in Dickinson County as we consider important business here this evening. It's Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Ron, do you care to do the pledge?
Everyone face the flag, stand up, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Sturgill, I guess we need to get to Ms. Kaiser's participation.
That is correct.
Pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.23708.3B1, Ms. Kaiser will be participating and voting here tonight by phone. Ms. Kaiser, if you would maybe give an introduction and give your reasoning for, just a brief reasoning for your telephonic participation tonight.
Okay, and thank you, Mr. Evans. Yes, this is Peggy Kaiser, Irvington District Supervisor. I am unable to attend in person due to having knee replacement surgery about 9 days ago. I still have my clamps. I am still not released to drive. And just for health reasons and protection of my knee, I chose to stay in tonight. And I am at my home at 740 Dyers Chapel Road, Clinch Cove, Virginia.
Mr. Sturgill, do we need to pass a motion to allow her to participate?
Yes.
I would entertain a motion to.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor of allowing Ms. Kaiser to participate telephonically, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. So Ms. Kaiser now is formally in this meeting now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy, for number one, calling the meeting and being able to participate telephonically. So secondly, I guess that would, or thirdly, it would bring us to item 3, consideration of funding for a potential after-hours medical service from the Health Wagon. I know we have Miss Collins and Miss Tyson on the phone as well. And Mr. Barton and Ms. Cronkite and myself, and I think all the board members now have educated themselves on the proposal here. If it's okay with you, Paula and Teresa, if I would turn the floor over to you briefly and allow you all to explain what we've got proposed.
Yes, we've actually been approached by several people about having an after-hours clinic. So we try to, we actually talked with some of the ER nurses at Dixon County and Cindy Blankenship, who actually, how can we best serve you? So what we have proposed is doing after hours on Thursday from 5 to 9 and on Saturday from 10 to 2. Now this is just to see how it works and to see if there's an interest or not. We wanted to get this in as soon as possible because right now it's flu season, RSV is COVID season. So we had a proposal that we sent you all about how much it would have to have stocked an NP and an LPN. And we have a dedicated nurse practitioner and a dedicated LPN and a front desk person and that's with supplies and everything for after hours. It would be free. It would be another free clinic to begin with. And, we had talked about we may transition after that, but it would be to begin with for 6 months, we're going to do a totally free clinic.
And then it's the sustainability might, be to look at, taking insurance and stuff like that. I think is what we discussed. This is true.
And so the hours, I don't know, Paul, if y'all can mute maybe, we're getting an echo. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're muted.
Okay.
You're the one that sent the
you all have got extensive experience in healthcare, obviously. Can you tell the board and maybe the citizens why we've chosen to start this on those days and evenings? Is there more of a, at least statistically, what your experience is? Saturday obviously is a big day for these facilities, is that right?
Yes, and we have been, we try to look, and what happens is most of the time people try to work Monday through Friday. They work through Thursday, Friday is ball game night, so we don't want to have them Friday and Saturday back to back. Wednesday is usually people going to prayer meeting in church, so we thought, and we can be flexible with this if we see, but most of them we see with Saturdays 10 to 2 is when Cindy actually told us that the ER is most busy, and she says right after work, 5 to 9 is what they're seeing. It's usually when people get off work, they've waited until they get off work and they come right on in. We thought about doing like a 6 to 10, but we've been recommended 5 to 9. Now this would be flexible. If we get in there and we're seeing people 12 to 7, we'll do that. But right now, this was our proposal, talking to everyone and seeing what we see. Most people usually, if they're sick on Saturdays, they wait. They get up around 9 o'clock, 9:30, and they begin, or lunchtime, and then begin to come to the doctor.
Members, that's all the questions I have. Go ahead.
Yeah, it may be we increase the Saturday to all day, but right now we thought physically responsible for everybody and be able to give that extra hours coverage. And, we're still will be open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. This would help cover that, so people aren't going to have to travel so far just for the flu, RSV, or COVID, as you all know, which is really severe right now. And that's all we have.
This is Ron Peters. I've got a few questions. I guess I got a little confused. So you're gonna have your regular clinic that you do for that's free care going Monday through Friday like you normally do, and then you're gonna add these 2 days. Do you foresee that with billing this, you'll be able to sustain it after 6 months and keep it going?
One of the things that we're going to look at is maybe transitioning it, because it does take quite a while to get credentialing, almost like 6 months. And so what we would look for the sustainability portion of this would be to start it as a free clinic, and then, work on getting everybody credentialed, and then we could go over to a fee-for-service structure, and that would be the sustainability, portion of this. I know that y'all want, we're looking to try to obtain some funding.
Yeah, and I'm asking this question because I want to support this. I want it to be a real, urgent care clinic when we're done. Do you foresee you'll be able to extend the hours to more days?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I don't think we heard that last very far.
Yeah, do you foresee that you'll be able to extend it so you're open more than just 2 days? If the need arises?
Oh, yes, we would love to do that. This is just the beginning to kind of give some coverage there for the weekend, so that, most of the time, if you're sick on Sunday, you can make it till Monday, but we're very open to extending it. It's just going to be to see if the need is there, and that's why we felt like it was expedient to do it right now while we're at the peak of RSV, COVID, flu. Right now, we even saw pertussis, which is whooping cough the other day. So we wanted to do it where we could get the numbers to when it would actually be needed. Now, come summertime, we may not need it, and it may be that we just open on Saturdays. This is just a kind of like a pilot study for us to provide coverage, make sure the people in Dixon County do not have to travel to Kentucky or to Norton just to be seen by a provider.
That sounds great.
Cover that.
That's what I was looking at. So we'll have to just see how it goes and proceed from there then. That sounds excellent. That's what I was looking for. Now, I do have a question on the other services you provide. Are you guys allowed to bill anything on those other services to Medicare and Medicaid?
Yeah. Not at Clintwood, no. Not right now. So we would have to be looking at a whole different framework, which at Coburn, which is our ACH clinic, we did an umbrella because for Virginia expanded Medicaid, we wanted to be able to help that. So if someone comes in right now and has insurance, they can hook up to a provider at Coburn and be seen during the hours that our x-ray, our vision, and our ultrasound, we cannot bill for.
Understand. It's something to look for in the future if we can get credentialed for that. But I have no more questions. I appreciate it.
I'm a little bit, so this is Rhonda Sluss. So you're open from 9 to 5 and you do not bill Medicaid or Medicare or anything? At the Clintwood location?
No, we're a total free clinic. We're a total free clinic. We have been since 1980 when Sister Bernie first founded us. We started out in Clinchco. We run our mobile clinic, and I think because we do what we do from our heart, God has always provided the funds. The only clinic that we bill Medicare and Medicaid is Coburn.
Is it not true that people who, they've expanded the Medicaid program, most people that have Medicaid hit to the emergency room? Is that not true? Because they have Medicaid, that they can be seen at the emergency room.
Medicare too.
There is, but what we're seeing, that's why the Cindy Blankenship is the RN that we actually, was one of the ones that we consulted with, as of course Dr. Ibrahim. But what we're hearing is the ones that have Medicaid, yeah, they really don't have to, they can go to the emergency room, but we wanted to be able to, because at the free clinic, we see mostly uninsured or underinsured, and the way that our board and our leadership looks at this, if you have insurance, you have Medicare, you have general insurance, most of the days, unless, even if you're a senator or you're a president, you're going to be underinsured because we all have those deductibles, so we still see the underinsured. But most people, if they do have Medicaid, they can be seen at Coburn, and that was just to be able to expand this. And to be able to keep, the after-hours clinic open, that is just one of the options we may have to look at. Now, God has always blessed us, so it may be that God has us a free clinic the whole time, but we see everyone for that, and during those 6 months, we'll just have to look at it, like I said, as a pilot study and see.
Well,
Yeah.
my question is, this is probably not on topic. I think it sure would be good to have a after-hours clinic to help people because it's often difficult to get seen at Norton or in Kentucky if you have someone who, especially children and so forth, or anybody for that matter. But telemedicine, do you all provide telemedicine?
Yes, we do.
Usually when you go to the after-hours clinic, it's usually for something fairly, like RSV, I know is raging right now in young people, and in older people too, for that matter. But you usually go for something that really telemedicine. And then I've often wondered, could you give me an idea of how many people you might see a week at the Clintwood location?
Our Clintwood location rocks and rolls. Okay, so you say on Monday we see 15 vision patients, 15 primary care patients. Then on Tuesdays, if we have our x-ray clinic, you're looking at 10 to 15 patients plus 20. Yesterday they saw 27 primary care patients. We have ultrasounds there one day a month, and usually it's full, and I think she schedules them one every 30 minutes, and it's always good.
So you do
Well, I don't know
have,
if that answers your question, but our Monday vision clinic is totally free too. It's with University of Pikeville, and we always see, it's good, 15 patients.
this is
The
at the
only thing that
Clint,
we're
this
not
is at the
offering right
Clintwood
now
location?
at Clintwood is vision.
So this is at the Clintwood location you're saying? You don't see dental patients?
Our Clintwood dental patients. The only thing we do not
It's
offer at
fine, it's
Clintwood
just
right
the
now is
audio.
dental.
Dental.
good.
But you do have x-ray and ultrasound
Ultrasound.
at the Clintwood
Yes,
location?
we have x-ray we have x-ray twice a month, ultrasound once a month, and vision every Monday.
I did notice that you had hired another nurse practitioner, is that not true?
We actually did. We had some staff rearranging. We had one one of our nurse practitioners who's going down to part-time, and we actually hired another nurse practitioner, we did.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
You're welcome.
Your Rhonda, that's a good point on the telemedicine, but like, for instance, we try to do that. But if she's got, an ear infection, that's kind of impossible to diagnose, and we just recently dealt with that, and I had to take off work and drive to Pikeville for a half a day and to get antibiotics for an ear infection. So I think this after-hours clinic we're proposing is for a scenario where you've got a sick 10-year-old and you don't really know what it is. The telemedicine doctor won't give you anything because they can't really diagnose it without looking in the ear. I mean, that's just an example, but in my mind, that's kind of what I envision is for the school-age children in particular, for, being able to just run over here. If it's an ear, if it's strep throat, they'll have all the diagnostic stuff to do the strep throat, the flu test, the RSV test, obviously can look in an ear. Right, Paul, I mean, y'all will have all that diagnostic stuff for those general illnesses that we're facing this fall and winter.
Oh, definitely, and Becky is wonderful, she is actually, it's Rebecca Mullins, she's the one that's in full-time, and she's excellent, so she will be there and, providing care, so, yeah, it would be anybody, sometimes even adults get sick with COVID, we're still seeing that, and unfortunately, we're seeing COVID and we're seeing RSV, so we would be able to do all that, just like we do during the week, we would be at our Clintwood office there in Foxtown.
Well, I think it's, I for one think it's worth giving it a try. Of course, that averages out, if you're asking for $50,000, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That averages out to $260 an hour. Is that correct? It's 32 hours a month.
32 hours a month.
Divided by $50,000 is 200.
Actually, we actually put in, because that is for a nurse practitioner.
And an
That's
LPN.
for a nurse. Yeah, and any supplies that we use.
I do think you will be keeping your numbers down. And who has insurance and who don't? I don't know what this feedback, but it's aggravating. But who has insurance and who don't, you'll be keeping your numbers down. And I do think Dr. Abraham has tried this twice, I believe, and each time it was unsuccessful. I don't know why, but I think it's a very good idea for our people, and I hope it's successful.
Well, I just don't know why you don't bill people that has insurance. And really, I don't know why people with insurance uses the Healthway. I mean, you could go to another facility.
Madam, Mr. Chair.
A lot of people say high co-pays and high deductibles. This is true. A lot of patients, they may have insurance, but they have high co-pays and they have high deductibles.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
One of my sons is $5,000.
And our county employees face that, $6,000 deductible.
Nick's is $5,000 is deductible.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Paul, Dr. Tyson.
Hey, Mr. Chair, I'd like to.
Yes, sir.
Here, Paula, this is Ron Peters. I just wanted to make a point on something. Really, the emergency room's not supposed to handle these kind of cases.
Exactly.
You wanna keep them out of the emergency room.
Exactly.
You want, so, and this provides a clinic, it's worth looking into. Initially, you, guys asked for money during our ARPA meeting for a person. And my only setback on that was, I wanna know that we can sustain it, and you've got a plan to try to look at fee for service on the insurance. That sounds like we're working towards that, so that's all I needed. Thank you, because we do need something like this. I know the emergency room can't typically handle when people get home from work and they've got a child sick. It's just a quick look and then they get an antibiotic and that. I went through that for many years. So, thank you.
And that's really, and just to answer that question, the emergency room, if you go in there, if you have insurance or not, your bill is going to be astronomical. That's not what you need for a year aid. So that's one thing we want to try to
That's
do
right.
is the astronomical cost of healthcare. We are, you know, if you go in and I know if you've been to the ER, as most of us have, it's not the ideal place financially, and it's not the place that I would actually want to take. I have a teenage daughter. It's not where I would want her to be sitting and waiting with everyone that has sitting in the waiting room, and if they have COVID, they've not been diagnosed yet. It's just not a good environment. And I wanted to tell you all this about our Clintwood Clinic, and this is just bragging on our Clintwood Clinic because we love our Clintwood Clinic. It was actually built during COVID, so it was built with negative pressure in mind. So even though we are very careful about letting people in and out, our air system is different than any clinic around here because it was built to prevent the recirculation of air. And we also have a room, if when we were given antibodies, and right now the government has stopped that except for the uninsured, is the only ones that we have antibodies for now, so if you have no insurance at all. We have a room that you can go in the back door and come out and never come in contact with anyone else. So we try to protect everybody, and if you have not been out there, you need to come and take a look at it too. It's I put it up against about any clinic in this side of Roanoke anyway.
I'm good.
I agree,
This
it's
is
very nice.
Peggy.
Go ahead, Ms. Curry.
This is Peggy. I wanted to chime in. I've not used the Health Wagon Clinic, and I've not used the Health Wagon in the last several years. But when Sister Bernie started this Health Wagon business back in the 80s, I went to the Health Wagon many a time. And, you know, my kids have gone there. And my one question is, she would always take donations because when she ran the Health Wagon, it was always free as well. Do you all accept a donation if a patient comes in there?
Yes, Peggy, this is Teresa. We encourage the patients to make a donation, but you know, some people can make it, some people don't. We actually ask for like, if they can do like a $10 donation, but if people don't have it, we never force the issue. I mean, some people got it, some people don't, and it's okay with us.
Right, well, I knew she didn't force that either for people to have to pay, but, you know, and I guess that's one thing that helped get her going is so many people gave Sister Bernie, donations, you know, and, I'm glad to see I've been blessed not to be sick, not to have to go to the doctor, not have to rush to ERs or to after-hours clinic, but I know there are families that face that, and I'm just glad to see us trying to work for something that our county can have something for our citizens as well as all of the surrounding counties have for theirs.
Well, I agree, and I feel like we just can sit on our hands and complain or try to do something, and we've been blessed with this federal money, and this federal money, one purpose was to combat COVID, and this is part of it. And again, if we don't do anything, then we have the same thing. If we try to do something, hopefully it's successful. It may not be, but I can't think of any other way that this money could be better spent than to try to offer our citizens some expanded health care offerings. And I appreciate the Health Wagon, Paula and Teresa, for entertaining this and spending time developing a proposal. It's took time for them and energy to develop it. It's going to take time and energy to work it, and I just feel like we're obligated as elected people to do the best we can, and I really don't know why we wouldn't at least try this. I hope we do pass this, and that's really the last thing I have on it myself. I don't know if anybody else has any other comments or questions, or Larry, do you have, I know you looked at this a lot with me, do you have anything else
I
on
don't. I
it?
think they've done a good job putting this proposal together with what they're looking at doing to kind of gauge the response and the need, and then looking at sustainability through, you know, credentialing and billing, so. I think it's good.
That's fine with me.
I think, I only have one thing, how are we gonna advertise this? I mean,
That was one.
are you gonna put it in the paper, or what do you proceed toward advertising?
Well, we're going to help in some of that, I hope.
Well, I really think it would be good if we got it out there to the people in the county.
Yeah.
We definitely
I
spread
didn't
the
even
word.
know that you were open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. I didn't really
You could
know,
put
but
something
I
on.
think that would be a good
Yeah.
thing. I don't
For the
see, I'm
county.
like Josh, or, I think 6 months, we should try it. I mean, I think we would be negligent if we didn't try it. Especially with this ARPA money that we have, and like he said, I can't think of anything better to, when you got a sick somebody, or sick child, or a sick, you really need help, and, I think we should try it and see how it goes.
Well, I'm appreciative that they have taken
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Kaiser.
I'm appreciative that they have stepped up to the plate and have put this type of offer together and are willing to add this services to their facility and to either employ other people, which gives employment opportunities, or, expand their work hours with the people they already have. It's not taking them long to step up to the plate to help us out, that's for sure.
Paula, did you or Teresa have something else? Are you still there,
No, we
Paula?
just really appreciate you all. Yeah, we are, and we just really appreciate you all, and we'll do our best, and if it doesn't work, we've at least given it a good shot. But this will get us through this winter also, and that, this has been a bad winter, for all of us. So with a lot of COVID, and like I said, be very careful, because we actually had a whooping cough, which is, pertussis.
My goodness.
That's scary.
Does any member have any other questions for Ms. Collins or Ms. Tyson?
The only thing I've got to say is I've heard several negative things about the health wagon. Somebody told me they came to get one of their booster shots for COVID, and they waited over 2.5 hours to get that. And I even called for medication when I had COVID, and I got no response at all.
Ma'am, we had 32, during COVID, we had 35,000 patient encounters last year, so, I'm sorry that somebody had to wait, but it was unprecedented, times with COVID, so.
She
I
said
mean,
she
there's
was
no
the
other
only one
clinic
there,
in the
but,
state of Virginia
they-
that has seen that many people. Yeah, 30 of our staff members got COVID, so, and we have, we always make it a priority to try to get people, in and out, but, as fast as we can, but, what we've been faced with in healthcare is unprecedented, so.
Well,
We're
Frank,
sorry that somebody may have had to wait, but, we also gave 8,000 monoclonal antibodies, and, with health flag, and we really feel that we felt we saved our community from being decimated by COVID.
well, you saved our community because we didn't have anybody that, now I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, we had no other providers doing quick testing, doing quick, like you said, monoclonal antibody treatment. And so I, for one, don't know what Dickinson County would have done without you. So I've heard
Yeah,
nothing but positive
We were
things.
immunizing, we were immunizing, we were seeing patients that were sick, we were taking calls 24/7. We had some of our staff that worked 3 weeks without a day off. I mean, it was unprecedented. I mean, most clinics, most providers, if you have a provider, they may see 1,500 a year, and that's a stretch. We've seen 35,000 patients. What we had encounters last year.
Goodness sakes.
So the health wagon definitely rose to the occasion
Not
more
but
than
14,000 people
anybody
in
else
this
in the
county.
community.
Well, I know personally you did for Dickinson County.
Oh, I don't understand. You had 32,000 encounters, did you say? 34,000?
35,000 patients.
35, and there's only 13,500.
She's talking about overall in Wise
We've
County.
got a clinic. we've
Oh,
got clinics
okay.
Elsewhere.
Oh, that, you're including the Coburn Clinic and all that, right?
Coburn, Wise, and then our mobile clinics, and then Clintwood.
Okay, all right. Makes sense.
Yeah, we had people that were coming in from Illinois, Indiana. Not only did we treat our people in our in our immediate region, we were beyond our region. I mean, people coming in from Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, because there was no place to get the monoclonal antibodies because there was no other providers that would provide them. 8,000, and these infusions take like 2 hours to get. It was unreal what we experienced, yeah. And nursing homes, we had to go in and infuse nursing homes, assisted living, yeah, company, we went everywhere.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything else?
Just when I vote.
If there's no further questions for Ms. Tyson or Ms. Collins, there's nothing else on our agenda aside from a motion, if we have a motion from a member.
I'll make a motion, we approve the $50,000.
And I'll second it. And that would be from the ARPA federal funding, right, Mr. Peters?
Yes, yes.
And I'll second that motion. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Kaiser, do you have anything else?
No,
I'll just,
I'm fine with it.
I just wanted to say something. You know, from the start of this, when COVID hit and we got these monies coming down, I've supported everything that the health wagons asked for each time. I hesitate on the employee on the last one because I wanted to, how you're gonna sustain it explained, and you did that. And I, as was said earlier by Mr. Evans, we'd have had nothing if you guys hadn't stood up, so I am very appreciative of you. Now, as far as these ARPA funds, we have several good things that we can spend these monies on. This is one of those good things that we can spend the money on. So, I'm a yes.
So we have a motion and second. All those in favor of the appropriation, please say aye. Aye as well. Any noes? Madam Clerk, I believe it's unanimous, 5-0. All right, thank you, Ms. Collins and Ms. Tyson. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all, and we'll plan on starting this within the next 2 weeks. If not this next week, we'll start it on the next Thursday.
Thank you so
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Just let us know and we'll help you advertise it
Okay.
around.
Mr. Chair, I make a
Thank you
motion we
so
adjourn.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all.